They don't need my hearing aids or nothing. First thing right there, for the equalization review.
Stuart, are y'all ready?
Yeah, ready?
All right. Ready? Yep. That's good. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I've been ready.
I've been ready too.
Yeah.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Franklin County Board of Commissioners April meeting. Tonight, we'll start off first with our Pledge of Allegiance, and I'm going to ask Commissioner Davis if he would lead us in that tonight. So if you could again, please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Nate. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the board, tonight we need to entertain a motion to recess our current Board of Commissioners meeting, so I'll entertain that motion.
Second.
A motion and second's been made. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. The next item I need is a motion to call to order the Board of Equalization and Review.
So made. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. The yeses have it. All right. Now that we've got that open, we will entertain a motion to recess the Board of Equalization and Review.
So move. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Any opposed? All right. And now I would ask for a motion to open back up our current Board of Commissioner meeting.
Motion made.
Second.
Now, motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. The yeses have it. So ordered. All right. We're moving on to item number 1 tonight, which is comments from the public. This is the time that's set aside by the Board of Commissioners to allow individuals 5 minutes each to address the board on issues concerning the county. The total time set aside for public comment is 30 minutes. Noticing that I've got four pages of folks signed up, and it looks like there's a couple, 3 that may be common spoken to, and I got one more coming. It may be wise for those of you all in your similar have similar things to talk about, to maybe pick 1 or 2 people to have that opportunity to speak, so that all topics can be heard tonight. So I will leave that to you all to do if you choose to. In the next, I'll give you a minute to do that, and then we're going. I'll call the first person. You all need to talk amongst yourselves for that? We can do that. We can do that now.
Excuse me, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me any better? Got a mic coming. Thank you. All right, test 1, 2. Any better? Okay. In the back there? Okay. All right. I'll try and keep that a little bit closer to me tonight. All right. So comments from the public tonight. The first speaker that I have is Maury York. You will come forward, sir. And if you would state your name and address for the clerk tonight, and then you have 5 minutes.
Good evening. Maury York, 100 East Noble Street, Lewisburg. I was the first chair of the Franklin County Historic Preservation Commission. I'm here tonight, along with other supporters, to ask you to keep the ordinance for the commission in place and to ensure that it is reconstituted. The commission was formed in 2017 pursuant to state statutes governing local preservation commissions across the state to carry out this mission. 1, to safeguard the heritage of Franklin County by preserving districts and landmarks therein that embody important elements of its culture, history, architectural history, or prehistory. And 2, to promote the use and conservation of such districts and landmarks for the education, pleasure, and enrichment of the residents of Franklin County and of the state as a whole. The county received outstanding support from the North Carolina State Historic Preservation Office in developing the ordinance for the Historic Preservation Commission and in training commission members to fulfill their duties. The commission achieved some significant accomplishments. It designated the old Franklin County Jail on East Nash Street as its first local landmark. And under the leadership of County Planner Scott Hammerbacher and Commission Chair Bill Harris, the Commission published this important book, The Architectural History of Franklin County, North Carolina, which contains 448 pages and hundreds of photographs of historic properties and sites in all of the county's towns and townships. The book is based on surveys of the county that were carried out over a period of nearly 50 years with outstanding support from the state of North Carolina and Franklin County. The book is the most important work on the history of Franklin County ever published and can be an extraordinary educational and economic development tool. Its availability for purchase at the county planning office needs to be widely publicized. Unfortunately, partly as a result of the COVID pandemic and subsequent serious illness of Bill Harris, the commission became inactive. But Mr. Harris told me last week that if his health had permitted, he would do everything in his power to keep the commission on track. Why is it important to reconstitute this commission? As you all know better than I, Franklin County is growing rapidly. It is therefore more important than ever that we take steps now to ensure that important historic landmarks and rural districts are preserved for the edification and enjoyment of generations to come. And as you no doubt know, heritage tourism can play a very important role in local economies. Let me give you an example. On May 16th, Preservation North Carolina, a statewide historic preservation organization that was founded in the early 20th century, is sponsoring a Franklin County ramble. PNC members from all over the state will be coming to the county to tour important buildings, including the Perry School, the Cook and Kearney houses on Peach Orchard Road, Woodleaf Plantation, and the Bickett House in St. Paul's Episcopal Church in Lewisburg. These people will spend money while they're here. They might even purchase copies of the Franklin County book if it is made available. The event is a clear recognition that the county's architectural treasures are highly significant and worthy of preservation. It is evidence that it will be to the county's advantage to do everything possible to preserve and promote the enjoyment of these buildings and the beautiful rural landscapes in which many of them are located. Here's what we are respectfully asking you to do toward this goal. 1, keep the Franklin County Historic Preservation Commission ordinance in place. 2, appoint a staff member in the planning department to oversee the work of the commission. 3, recruit new members. 4, contact Christy Brantley, Local Preservation Commission Coordinator at the State Historic Preservation Office, who is in charge of working with local commissions throughout the state. She wrote me today to say she would be happy to help county staff train the new commissioners. 5, widely publicize the
One
commission.
moment, Mr. York.
Make a
Your 5
motion to
minutes is
extend.
Okay.
Make a motion to extend the session.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. All right, yes, let's have it. Please move forward, but
I'll
also
be-
if you would.
I'm
be
almost
considerate
done.
time.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Ford.
Absolutely.
5, widely publicize the commission and its work so that residents of the county will know its purpose and how it can be helpful in preserving their properties. We are fast approaching the 250th anniversary of Franklin County, a place you all love, in 2029. This is the perfect time to celebrate our rich historical and architectural heritage by making sure that the county has a viable historic preservation commission that can play a key role in preserving our past for all to enjoy in the future. And now I would like to ask all of those here tonight who support keeping the HPC to please stand. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. York. All right, our second speaker tonight appears to be Sally Gussett. Is that right? All right, very good. Please come forward. And if you would state your name and address for our clerk, and then your 5 minutes will begin.
Okay, my name is Sally Gossett. My address is 1448 Sagamore Drive in Lewisburg in Lake Royale.
Pull that closer.
I'm
Just pull it
sorry.
closer to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try not,
Get mean with
I make a lot of noise. Anyway, I'm gonna try and make this short and sweet. We are still dealing with the MOU. I will ask you again, please, to either rescind it or put it off. We had a town hall, but it was very convoluted, very confusing. We didn't get a lot of answers. We got 3.5 pages of questions and answers from them, and one of them, my favorite one, the board of directors entity will vote. According to them, we don't get a vote, which is not part of our bylaws. They're still telling us we don't get a vote. I came to Lake Royale for the police department. I need the Lake Royale Police Department, and I'm not the only one. I would ask you to please consider waiting until we get a new board seated. We have an election in June. And if you could please consider the fact that we still don't have a lot of information. Thank you for your time.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Next up is Mr. Troy Davis. You would give your name and address to the clerk.
Yes, my name is Troy Davis. I live at 137 Ottawa Drive in Lake Royale. I'm going to echo just a little bit of what she said, but I have a little bit more that I also want to say. So we did have the town hall last night, which we would not have had if the Board of Commissioners had not stated that they need to have it before you would move forward. So the biggest problem with this is that we have had absolutely no transparency. The only way that the community found out about this was that we saw it on the commissioner's agenda or somebody brought it to us. Now, if anything I say is incorrect or infactual, please let me know, because we have had no transparency on this at all. So again, she said that the board could vote on it. The board can vote on it all they want, but it is in our bylaws that we have the Lake Royale Police Department. And the bylaws cannot be changed unless 2/3 of the residents vote on that. Now, this questionnaire that she was talking about is a 3-page thing that was put out by our board. And the questions are ambiguous at best. Some of them are misleading, and some of them, I would dare say, were outright lies. And I think that's been the problem all along. I think that you were misled, if not outright lied to, and so have we been. One of the things that their biggest issue that they have with the police department is the liability. Now, I have worked in public safety most of my adult life. When I got out of the Army, I became a paramedic. Currently, I work as a private detective and an armed security officer in some very dangerous places. I work with police department, sheriff's department, state highway patrol all the time. I am not law enforcement by any means. But what they're saying is that the police department is a liability. That's true across any form of law enforcement, but county is self-insured, so is the state. So if you have a lawsuit, the county pays for it. Same with us. If we have a lawsuit, then the citizens are going to have to pay for it. but the liability is stemming mostly out of either lawsuits or has been stated as complaints to the labor board against the board itself for coercion, inappropriate firing, intimidation, which I actually witnessed from a board member at our town hall meeting, and it is recorded on body camera. So any of the commissioners that would like to see that, be more than welcome to share it to them. So what we're being told, and we were showed some numbers last night, what we're being told is that Johnston County will take, or I'm sorry, I just came from Johnston County, but Franklin County is going to cost us like 1.2 million for the sheriff's department. I understand if you're going to dedicate officers to us that, yeah, maybe we might have to pay a little bit more, but they're saying that the budget for the police department, Lake Royale Police Department, was 1.7 or 1.07, somewhere in that neighborhood. I have seen the budget in the past couple of days, and it is under $1 million. So again, we were lied to, unless there's something that somebody can tell me that they've added to that that's not in the actual budget. That's another concern of ours, is we don't really have a budget that we can look at that has accurate numbers. The first board meeting I went to, they showed a financial budget for the year, and they told us, well, this is the number for this, but that's not really the number. So how in the world do you know what you're paying for? And this seems to be a something that's an ongoing situation with our current board, is a lack of transparency. And in closing, I will say that I was a board president in another community. I was there for 3 years, and I know that when the board decides, there are certain things that the board can vote on without the consent of the community. But I can guarantee you that everything that we voted on and decided, it was immediately put out to the community to let them know what was going on, how we're spending their money. And when we had board meetings, we went over just like you are. We started at the beginning, and we saved our comments for the end. We go over the financials, we go over what we're doing, what we plan on doing for that year, and then when we let people talk. There was no time limit, there was no topic that was taboo, and nothing was met with aggression. I've been to 2 board meetings, and it's my opinion that the board is very, very confrontational with all of the clients or all of the residents in Lake Royale. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much for hearing us.
Thank you, sir. Ania Kelly, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. If you state your name and address for the clerk.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tanya Kelly. I live at 1455 Ronald Tharrington Road, Lewisburg. I am the chair and director for Collective Arts of Franklin County, and I'm here to talk about this arts organization that's been in the county for 3 years now and our upcoming event. Collective Arts of Franklin County has been around since 2023, and we have been organizing arts events in Lewisburg as well as Franklinton since then. This year, we are turning it up a notch with our Berg Arts Fest. We named it this year the Berg Arts Fest to create town pride for Lewisburg. Collective Arts of Franklin County is a resource. We are here to connect artists with businesses, municipalities, schools, families, the community, to stimulate where we see that stimulation is needed. Saturday afternoons are usually a bit slower in Lewisburg, so that is when we like to put our events. Friday nights on the Tar always do well whenever Friday nights on the Tar happen, but Collective Arts is stepping in to fill in the blanks before Friday Nights of the Tar start. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this today in front of you all and in front of you all is to raise awareness of Collective Arts in Franklin County and to raise awareness of the Berg Arts Festival. It is a free community event. We are having a community installation game where kids and families are welcome to step into our tent, throw a ball of paint at a blank canvas and create art that way. This art piece will be donated to the town of Lewisburg, who has voiced that they were interested in displaying this at the community station. So this is an event that is for families, for adults. We have a free sip and paint event that's going to be at Thrifty's on that day. The event runs from 3 to 7. We'll have 2 seatings of the free sip and paint. There will be a raffle going on as well. Not to mention, of course, this is an opportunity for our local artists to set up and sell their wares, because we do believe that just because we're a rural place, that we deserve to have an arts economy in this place. I also encourage every single one of you, if you see this poster, if you see any of this art on social media, anywhere, please post it. Please share it. That is free support here. I also have smaller handbills that I'm happy to hand out after this. Please visit Collective Arts FC, as in franklincounty.org, and check out our county community calendar. We are administrating and collecting all of the events in the county and putting them all on one place right on our website for free for the county, because as always, we are a resource. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kelly. Kayla, where are you at? There she is. I didn't recognize you with your hat on. Come on up. Kayla Livingston. Good to see you again. Doing good. You'd state your name and your address? That would be great.
So my name is Takayla Livingston, and I am at 5488 Highway 401. Oh, I'm short. I'm sorry.
All right. Can
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay. So my name is Takayla Livingston, and I live at 5488 Highway 401 North, and that's Lewisburg, North Carolina. And today I'm doing a poetic speech called Fund the Future. So that's what I'll be doing today. In our schools, the future trembles. Programs that lift our students, that feed their curiosities and their bodies, stand in the shadows of uncertainty. Every lesson, every support system, balanced on decisions we cannot see. In our clinics, the future hesitates. Care that families depend on, treatment, prevention, stability, rests on funding that shifts without warning, and families are left wondering if care will meet them where they need it most. And at our tables, the future wavers. Meals that sustain children, parents, and elders are tied to programs that feel uncertain, and no family should question whether tomorrow brings nourishment or need. This is not abstract. This is Franklin County. This is our classrooms, our clinics, our healthcare, and this is our kitchens. This is the weight of our community that our community rests on, or needs. I'm sorry. This resolution is more than paper. It is a call for clarity. It is a call for transparency, a call for leadership that meets this moment. It is a request that you consider, that you place this resolution on your agenda, that you take it up fully and publicly. And if you don't take this path, then maybe you can take another. But please do not leave us with unanswered questions. Please do not leave our community in the dark, because our residents deserve to know how decisions made beyond this room shapes the reality within it. With this resolution, we are asking for light where there is uncertainty, for information where there is confusion, where accountability where there is silence. Because when we understand, we can be prepared. When we are informed, we can respond. When we stand together, we can protect what matters most: our schools, our health, our ability to feed our families. This is our people. This is about our responsibility, and this is about our future. And together, Franklin County must fund our future. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Mr. John Bell. State your name and address for the clerk, sir.
John Bell, and it's 122 Black Cloud Drive, Lewisburg. And again, I'm a resident of Lake Royale community, and that's a hard act to follow. That young lady, I tell you what, that was as a former educator, I was proud of that speech you just gave. Wonderful job. Anyway, I just wanted to reiterate that we are here to support conversations to hopefully get an MOU at some point. I'd ask for our board members that are currently here to stand so you can see them. They are here tonight in support. Anyway, thank you all very much for being here. As I've stated earlier, you know, we've reached out to the community. We had a town hall and, you know, tried to address everybody's questions as best we could. Of course, we're talking in hypotheticals because, you know, it's up to you as the commissioners to allow, you know, Mr. Preble and myself and the board and the sheriff's department to actually formulate a viable plan to give to our community. So again, I'd ask that you please do that because again, in your roles as our leaders of Franklin County, you understand that there's a lot of information sometimes that, you know, the public isn't privy to because it's confidential information that drives your decision making. And in this case, that's the same with us. And anyway, you know, we're all volunteers on this committee. We all love the community we live in. Like I stated before, I've lived in the Lake Royale community since 1993. I raised my daughter there, and my wife and I have grown old together there, and we love our community. And this whole board is vested in protecting our community, which is exactly what we're trying to do. So again, with your support, we would look forward to working with Mr. Preble, our attorney, your attorney, and Kevin White to try to formulate a plan to give to our community to consider. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Richard Dyer. State your name and address for the clerk.
Richard Dyer, 533 Sagamore Drive in Lake Royale. So I spoke at last month's meeting regarding the Sheriff's Department and the Lake Royale MOU. My concern remains around cost, right? Because we pay millions of dollars in property taxes and we pay millions of dollars in sales and use taxes. So following last month's meeting, I sent an email to all of the commissioners and Mr. Pebble, and I noted the population that Lake Royale has in Franklin County. I noted the sales revenue that the county shares with municipalities. I realize we are not a municipality, but certainly our residents pay millions of dollars in sales tax, and we're not sharing in the benefit like other areas of the county are that have our population density. So if you look at population, this is coming from the 2020 census. It was confirmed, you know, if you can trust GPT, it was confirmed in terms of 2026. The data's changed slightly, of course, but the relative differences remain about the same. So in 2020, Lake Royale had about 3,400 residents. Lewisburg had about 3,100 residents. So we're larger than Lewisburg in terms of population. Franklinton had about 2,500. Youngsville had about 2,000. So we're definitely the largest area currently. Now that's probably going to change as Lewisburg and Franklinton and Youngsville are growing, I think, a little more rapidly than we are. But currently, we certainly are the most populated, and we're certainly going to be a large population base moving forward. If you look at the sales taxes that are refunded or paid to the municipalities, Youngsville gets about $1.5 million, Lewisburg gets about $1.2 million, and Franklinton gets about $900,000. That's coming from North Carolina Department of Revenue data. So we obviously are, again, a large tax base, and we're being asked to pay for a service from the Sheriff's Department. And I realize we're talking about more resources, but that kind of brings me to my next point. Is, you know, I support the discussion around the MOU, but I would like to request that there are costs and options that are evaluated and presented to the community. right? So it's not just one option. There are costs and options and a rationale for the cost, and an ability to change that MOU or the recommendation based on community input. So that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Dyer. Cheryl Lister? Cheryl Lister? State your name and address for the clerk, that would be great.
Cheryl Lister, 1583 Sagamore Drive. I'm here as a property owner at Lake Royale, but also as a current board member, and presently I am the treasurer. I'm here to share with you a little bit of information about the situation we are in with insurance, specifically insurance related to our police department. Our insurance renewal has already occurred. It occurred on April 1st, and we're very grateful for that coverage. But we also know we're at risk of losing this coverage in the future. We have talked here and to our community about our liability exposures. We've mentioned that there have been lawsuits and threats of lawsuits that we have been presented with in order to manage through them. It is an assumption made by some in our community that the situation we're in is because of the board of directors. To that, I will only say that the buck does stop here. I'm here to be accountable that we're the board, we run the community. To some degree, the buck does stop here. And the board is responsible for managing these things. But what has gone wrong in our community is not at the level of the board of directors, at least not directly. As a volunteer board, we hire or promote management that is responsible for the police department. We have a chief of police, and we have a captain as well. The staffing of our department is the responsibility of police leadership. They hire the officers. They train the officers. They coach the officers. They hold the officers accountable, and when necessary, they fire the officers. This is a leadership responsibility. But again, the buck stops with the board of directors. What's going wrong in our community? In our current structure, we have experienced very high turnover rates regarding the police. At every level, we have had 5 chiefs in 6 years. Within the last year, we've had 1 chief and 2 interim chiefs. With each leader, you have officers that feel loyal to that leadership. When leadership changes, many times so do the officers. So now we're in this regular need of new staff while having to walk through situations that have arisen from the past staff. We can't seem to get ahead of this continuous rotation of police staff. In addition to leadership issues within the department, we're also challenged with being able to offer a benefit package comparable to what other departments can offer. Such items as we do not offer a retirement package. We do not allow officers to drive their vehicles home and to work. These are things that put us at a competitive disadvantage when we're trying to hire police officers. As a board, it's our responsibility to find a solution. We've entertained a couple of options in this regard, such as adding an HR department in order to support our police. That's just one of them. However, our greatest hope of resolution was to pursue the resources of our county. As a Franklin County resident, I hope that my county, including all of you, will assist our community because we're struggling to resolve this problem. Our board still hopes to partner with Sheriff Kevin White to replace our outdated concept of company police and instead come up with an agreement to bring support from the Sheriff's Department to the lake. This agreement benefits the residents of Lake Royale like never before. We deserve better. And we deserve to know that this county is here when we need them in areas where our company police lack the experience and knowledge. Things like criminal investigations, drug investigations, domestic violence situations, just to name a few, that would be improved should we have the support of the Sheriff's Department. So we are reaching out to the county for your help. The proposed collaboration with the sheriff would come at a cost to our association. We know that. Mr. Rich just talked about it. He just came up here and talked about that very fact. Many in our community actually feel like the partnership we seek should be the responsibility of the county because we pay these taxes. But we understand that our request came with a cost, and we have agreed to.
One moment.
Make a motion, we extend the session.
Second.
The motion and the second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? You would wrap it up for us, that'd be good.
Absolutely. I only have a couple sentences. We considered the expenses doable to get to the safety of the Sheriff's Department within our community. So I am here to ask, as a resident of Lake Royale and a resident of Franklin County, for you to allow the collaboration to move forward in negotiations so that we can have the help that we need. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right,
Mr. Vice Chairman, we have reached the 30-minute mark, just to let the board.
so ladies and gentlemen of the board, we have reached the 30-minute time limit.
I'd like to make a motion, we extend that.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to extend the time limit.
How many additional, sorry, Vice Chair, how many additional speakers do we have?
2 pages out of 4 have been completed,
Halfway.
or 2 out of 5. We have two down and 3 to go. So is there a recommendation on, Mr. Foy, as I was going to mention, do we want to talk about an additional timeline, not just open door before your motion? Does your motion include an additional 20 minutes, an additional 30 minutes, an additional 5 minutes?
I'll make a motion that we listen to the rest of the speakers are done.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no?
No.
No? All right. So the yeses have it. We will continue, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Sean Kingsley. Good evening. If you'd state your name and address for the clerk.
Sean Kingsley, 621 North Main Street, Lewisburg.
Thank you.
Anybody that knows me knows I'm a man of few words, so I'll keep this very short and sweet for you all. Thank you. My name is Sean Kingsley. I reside at 621 North Main Street in Lewisburg. I'm here today to support of maintaining the Historical Preservation Commission and ensuring the continued presence of active, engaged, and well-guided members within our community. Historic preservation is not just about buildings, it's also about identities. It protects the character, the heritage, and the story of Franklin County. I've lived in several states and have renovated many historical homes. And I can say that with pride and care, this community places on preserving its history that is something truly unique. My family and I have lived in the Nicholson Taylor Bickett House for the last 15 years here in Lewisburg. Through the restoration and ongoing care of our home, we have gained a deep appreciation for the craftsmanship and the history that exists within its structure. That experience has strengthened our connection not only with our home, but also more importantly with our community. This home also carries a legacy of the late Thomas Walter Bickett of North Carolina. He was our 54th governor from the terms of 1917 to 1921. If you don't know anything about him, I highly recommend we all look him up. He was a fascinating individual that supported education. His impact on this state is still recognized today, so much that US 401 bears his name that runs through Raleigh through Lewisburg. That is a daily reminder that our history is not behind us, it's something we live with and move through every single day. I also say this with the guidance of individuals who have served on this preservation board. I would not have been aware of the grants and resources available to support the work that we have done. Individuals like Mitch Wilds, who is here tonight, and also Maury York, who you heard from earlier, have dedicated their time into helping us and understand and navigate preservation and the kind leadership that matters. I would also state that it brings tourism and also maintaining stable property values to our community. Our community continues to grow, and it's critical that we do not lose sight of what makes Franklin County special. Growth and preservation can and should coexist. I respectfully ask that you continue to support and maintain a strong historical preservation commission with clear guidance and committed members, especially as new individuals step into their roles. Because once these pieces of history are gone, they're gone for good. We're not just preserving buildings, we're preserving the legacy of those like Governor Bickett and the identity we pass to our next generations. Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, the next speaker is Darren, I believe it's Wilder. Darren Wilder, if you come forward. Good evening. Can you state your
Good
name
evening.
and address?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Darren Wilder, and I reside at 32 Wild Acres Drive in Franklinton. I come to you again as a concerned citizen, and here is why. County officials failed to defend water requests. Warren County residents call it a water grab that hurts a rural area. This article, as well as the editorial, paints the picture of a dumpster fire at the board's making. Upon reading this, my first thoughts were of the Colorado River, where 7 states, 22 tribal nations, and Mexico draw water. I recall a trip to Lake Mead back in the 90s and found the water abundant and its color beautiful against the desert background. But that is no more. Between high use and drought conditions, a recent document showed only a trickle of water flowing into the Gulf in Mexico. Lake Mead itself is over 100 feet below capacity. One can see why our northern neighbors fought back so hard, because Carr Lake has experienced their own drought conditions over the past years. Then my second thought went to the saying, charity begins at home. Now I realize I am using this phrase out of context, but the applied meaning is the same. We should first work to resolve our problems with the resources we have available. The editorial mentions the Corps of Engineers recommending a reservoir along the Tar River in the vicinity of the approximate 1,000 acres that was rezoned by this board 2 months ago, which allowed for targeted, denser residential development. I have also been informed that there are other reservoir opportunities within the county that could also be entertained. Lastly, my thoughts were around behavior. Why is taking from others and compounding a rising issue preferred over solving our own problems? Why did the board lawyer up to find water? I wouldn't think attorneys would know much about the science of hydrology. How deep was the Corps of Engineers' recommendation vetted by our board? Is dense residential development preferred over drinking water? Was this a Hail Mary to show something to account for all the monies that have been spent? As it stands, the Franklin Times is our document of record because very little from this board has been shared with the public. We deserve to be informed. Our county's reputation should not be tarnished. I would use another term to describe this, but a dumpster fire will suffice. We are better than this. One question remains. What are you doing? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, this next name, I apologize. I'm going to try and spell it as best I can read it. S-A, I think W-O-I. Last name E-O, Pavlak? That's Sandy Saudi? Sandy. Okay. No worries. Yeah.
So Sandy Pavlak, 1191 Lake, 1191 Sagamore in Lake Royale. And I want to thank the commissioners, county manager, and county attorney, and the sheriff's. Can you hear me now? Okay, I'll hold here then. So I wanted to thank the commissioners and county manager and county attorney and the sheriff's department and the clerk for spending the extra time that everyone has put into taking his time with the proposed Lake Royale MOU matter. And as mentioned, yes, a town hall was held on Thursday last week, April 2nd, and still a lot of questions, still a lot of confusion. The two residents that showed the question answer document that was printed, that was only handed out at the meeting. It was not distributed by email to any of the residents. It was not given to any of the residents on the Zoom call. Am I correct? Okay. And there was a short presentation that was up on the screen, and I don't know whether or not the Zoom callers were able to see that. I know they weren't able to ask questions on Zoom to be read at the meeting like the rest of us in person had the opportunity to do. And, in that presentation, it said that, I guess the figures started out around 850,000, and there was a change in management were the words used, and then it jumped up to 102 from the county, 1.2. So I don't know what change in management means and why the price jumped up so high, but I just wanted to point that out. And as Ms. Lester said, the police chiefs are responsible for the management, right? Of the officers and what comes of that. But the board hires the police chief. The police chief reports to the board. So there's some responsibility there as well. Maybe, and there used to be a police advisory council that was a layer above the police, and that's been gone for a while now, and that was made up of some law enforcement personnel. So that maybe bringing that back could help. I guess that's pretty much, it. I just wanted to, I look forward to hearing the update and hoping that we will know what's transpired to this point, what the next steps will be, and what an expected timeline would be for Lake Royale property owners to view a copy of the proposed draft MOU. And again, I've stated this before when I'm here, I'm not against, an MOU, a discussions negotiation, because we don't know what's in it. So there's no way you can be for or against it, knowing the pros or cons, if we don't know details of it. And that's the way the property owners are. The board is in the know, we aren't. And I understand they say they can't give some of the information out, but we're looking to you guys as well to be able to share what you can with us. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Cindy. All right. Kimberly? I'm guessing the last name may be a G, maybe starts with a C. About the airport, there you are. Didn't see you moving. It's easy for me to just not try than to really,
it's
really be crazy. So.
Kimberly Galusha, 1134 MC Wilder Road.
Get a little closer to that microphone there.
Okay.
There you go. Just stand closer to it.
Okay. I am speaking on behalf of the residents regarding the proposed expansion of Triangle North Executive Airport, building on our prior communication with county. I want to be clear, our position is not opposition for its own sake. We recognize the role this airport plays and the importance of economic development. However, we're asking that growth be approached responsibly with full understanding of its long-term impacts on existing residents and resources. Currently, residents are requesting 3 specific actions before this project moves forward. A comprehensive impact study, baseline groundwater testing, and a public hearing. These are reasonable, proactive steps that ensure decisions are informed, transparent, and protective of public health. Residents need clear, direct information about the project's potential impacts, particularly related to noise, environmental risks, public health, and property values. Without this information, it's difficult for the community to understand fully what the expansion means for their future. Given the time, I will focus on 2 primary concerns. First, quality of life and property values. Increased air traffic will introduce sustained noise and disruption to what is currently mostly quiet rural area. This is not a temporary inconvenience. This is a permanent change that affects daily life, sleep patterns, outdoor use of property, and overall well-being. Equally important is the financial aspect. For many families, their homes are their largest investments. There is well-established pattern in similar projects where proximity to expanded airport operation can negatively affect residential property values. Residents deserve a clear, transparent assessment of how this project may impact their investment over time. Second is environmental and public health risks, particularly groundwater. Airport expansion bring increased risk for stormwater runoff, fuel-related contamination, and other environmental impacts. These are not hypothetical concerns. They are documented risks associated with aviation-related development and are recognized in federal guidance. This is an issue specifically critical in our community because residents rely on private drinking water wells. Unlike public water systems, private wells are not regulated, which means homeowners are solely responsible for ensuring their water is safe. Because of this, establishing baseline groundwater conditions before any expansion occurs is essential. Without baseline data, there is no reliable way to determine whether contamination has occurred in the future or establish accountability if it does. We are requesting baseline testing of surrounding wells, including analysis of contaminants commonly associated with airport operations. These include PFAS, often referred to as forever chemicals, as well as fuel-related compounds such as benzenes, toluenes, ethyl benzenes, and xylene. In addition to baseline testing, we are asking for a funded long-term monitoring program, along with clearly defined contingency plan that in the event of contamination is detected. Without these measures in place, the long-term environmental and financial risks are effectively shifted from the project to the residents. Lastly, communication around this project has been limited, and that has contributed to growing concern within the community. We respectfully request that public hearing be scheduled to provide residents the opportunity to engage directly with county leadership, ask questions, and better understand the project's scope, timeline, and potential impacts. Transparency and open communication are essential to maintaining public trust. In closing, we ask that the project be paused until the following are completed: a comprehensive impact study, baseline groundwater testing, long-term monitoring plan, and a public hearing. These are not unreasonable requests. They are a standard, responsible steps to protect public health, preserve the environmental resources, and ensure that growth is managed thoughtfully. This is not just about today.
Vice Chairman, I thought.
One moment. Make a motion, extend our session.
Second. Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay. This is not just about today. This is about the long-term health and safety and stability of our community. I care deeply about these issues, as do many of the residents I'm representing, and we remain committed to working collaboratively with a solution that balances progress with protection. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Missy Atkins? You knew you were next, huh? If you state your name and address for us.
Yep, Missy Atkins, 112 Fox Drive. It's at Lake Royale. It's in, Lewisburg, obviously. Anyways, I'm here because, and I'm also on the board of directors, represent. So I don't know who does the agenda for y'all. I don't know who creates it and when y'all get it. But my first concern is, like, back in, I think it was January, y'all had the first talk of this MOU. And I just want somebody just to let all the residents know. Nobody reached out to the board of directors to tell them that this was going to be talked about, because the board of directors doesn't even know anything, because I know it's going through it's trying to be gone through a negotiation. And so it's like we are just being called liars and everything else, which it's okay. We can take it. I see you guys get some stuff too. And so I just would I'm just here to ask if we can if you guys would approve just the negotiation part. Because like we had this town hall and I let the board know I'm not going. We know nothing else that we can tell them. It's a waste of time. But you guys asked us to do a town hall and that's what they did because you requested it. But we know nothing about it because it's not been into the negotiations. And that's what we just need to do is so that way we can inform the Lake Royal residents if this is a possibility or if it's not with the negotiation. But without a negotiation, we just need that from you guys to do that. So, but if somebody could please let them know that the board knew nothing that is going to be on the agenda, that would be great too, just so we're not liars.
We'll find that out for you. How about that?
Thank you, sir.
All right, you're very welcome. All right, Tara Rowe.
My name is Tara Rowe. Is this on?
Yeah, it's on.
Okay.
Make it comfortable for you.
I'm at 631 Sagamore Drive at Lake Royale, and I'm here to discuss the MOU. As they said earlier, we do have liability insurance. Let me start at where this began. We had a board that hired a management company that would not cover our police department. So normally we would have just kept what we had and continued our search. This also just happened with our maintenance department. So outside of the community, we're all wondering, what are we paying our management company for that the board is approved? And that's another story. But these liability situations are caused by our board. We need to have a special group or a special committee, and this can be done by the president of residents that would understand the input and what they're trying to do and build that straw man that would discuss the MOU. We don't have that. We have limited information provided by the board, and we had a Q&A and town hall that was provided. We had mention at the board meeting. We were told that the county didn't want to come, but yet we were sitting here last month when you told the county management, attend the town hall when they have it. We had 2 days notice, and I think I sent a letter to each of you that you received forwarding the notice that we got prior to the town hall. We did have a great turnout even with short notice. We keep getting flip-flops on the reasons for it, but here's the thing. The board is not set up to manage it. We should be having a management company that does that and even help structure the MOU. I don't know whether I'm for it or against it because honestly, I haven't seen enough, but I do know this. LRPD is covered to the lake only. The sheriff's department will extend outside the community should you need them, and they should because all the taxpayers pay them. But as Mr. Dyer said, we need to understand the current taxes that we're paying and that coverage and why our coverage is going to increase even greater than what we currently have in our budget. One of the things that the town hall president, at the town hall, the president said is, well, all tickets get thrown out. That's not completely true. I've been to Franklin County Court and I've seen the tickets get processed for violations by the LRPD. We had community police officers, and the first thing the one board did is they came in and fired one of our best chiefs ever that we had. Since then, we've had current, and here's the thing, you guys hired the chief. He works for a police department, so he couldn't have been all bad. We have to look at the fact that this is going to continue to increase our budget, and I'd like to request that we hold off until we get a new board. As you can tell tonight, and from the emails you've gotten, the residents are not comfortable with the actions of the current board, and we need representation on our board for all the residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Scott Strickland.
I won't speak on this, but I feel that it come to me. I worked for Lake Royale once upon a time for the police department years ago. This has been an issue going on since 1970 between the legislature back and forth to take Chapter 20 out, put Chapter 20 in. But see, it's not only about Franklin County, it's about Nash County too. You've got 2 counties coming in there. So if you're going to do anything, we need to get together with Sheriff Stone and talk about it too. It's a lot that goes on. I've done a lot for Lake Royale. We put in the landing zones. God, we needed it back when the storm come through and the trees fell in. They couldn't get out. We couldn't get in from the fire department. It was just a lot that we done. Saved the golf pro's life down there one night when I worked down there. He fell through the door, cut his wrist. Luckily, we were there because the ambulance was a long ways away. So, Lionel Fleming was his name. And I got a bad boy from working for down there doing that. But I didn't do it for that. I done it because it's community. And my daddy died down there at 585 Choctaw Drive. I had a lot of respect for Lake Royale, and I still got a lot of respect for Lake Royale. But the truth is, at the end of the day, the problem they got is it's called company police. To understand the statutes of company police, they work for the POA, the amenities only. It's just like Lewisburg College works for Lewisburg College. They can't come out on Main Street except in front of the Main Street and do anything. The reason I know this is my dad is dead, but the chief of police stepped off the roadway. Charles Batten, Frank County Sheriff's Department put him in handcuffs because he was trespassing. They went over to the master's office, but they settled it out of court because, and his name was Chief Mike Wood, one of the best chiefs they ever had come out of Aberdeen, North Carolina. The next chief was Philip Richardson after this man left. They had several chiefs and they had a great structure. And I would like to see, there's several answers, that could be answered, but it's no right answer because of the way it's structured. But my thing is, I think we need to get together with Nash County too, because we have structure over on that side. If, being a retired firefighter, it was always, well, whose side is it on? Well, it's going to be the same way with the sheriff department going in there. The Nash County, which now we got fine maps, it helps that we can see in the truck where it is. But, I pray that we can come to a resolution to help these folks because they're already paying taxes for something that they're going to have to keep paying taxes for. They're already paying for sheriff's department coverage. And so, why should they have to pay any more? I mean, but my point is, that's enough on that. But my thing is, I started the Lake Royale search years ago, and I was glad we did with Bun Rescue. I did it for 35 years of Bun Rescue and looked after it, and then it went under. But every time they lose the chief, we have to re-instruct her because they're up under the Lake Royale Police Department. They're certain. And so it makes it bad. And so then I said, well, we'll come up with something else. And so we kind of partner together and help all of them together in the county. It's just not one for all, we're all together. When we all go out to do a search, don't matter where it is in the county, we all team together. Like last week, they went up to Royale and played victims at the airport, doing things. Michael went and done the bomb squad the year before. And so it's a lot of stuff that you learn, that you do, but you have to play the dummy so they can train. And so, but I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm glad you're back, Mr. Shriver, from your surgery. I have wondered where you was, and I'm glad you're back.
I am too.
But, we all work together as a team, and we can get more done if we work together instead of apart. And I'm not no politician, I ain't no speaker, but when it comes to the heart, and you get the feel, it's like it comes from the Lord, hey, you need to speak on this. But like I said, my dad died 585 in the house fire. It took 13 fire engines. It was a big house. Put a steel roof on, and he didn't have a chance. It just killed him. The heat killed him. But my moral to the story is, those departments come together. I think that we can all come together and make this police department thing work. It was tough when I was done. We had 2 gates. We had one on the back.
Make a motion, we extend the session.
Hold on, Mr. Boyd. I appreciate your anxiousness, but we do have a little protocol here I got to work through as the vice chairman of the board currently running the show. So thank you for that. So we need to extend his time. You have a motion. Is there a second? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposed? All right, thank you. Please continue.
Well, so, you know, if you look at the map, the original Lake Royal Road actually runs on the backside, which is, we had 2 gates over there at one time. And you had a little gatehouse over there, and the man would go over there and sit. I mean, it wasn't much bigger than this podium, to tell you the truth, and it had a little hall, like when you went to wake your bed, you go in. But we also had property on the other side, which had been sold off over there. And so it was tough on us back then because you only had 2 people working then. And now look at the police force we got. I mean, I can't imagine. I just tell you, you know, law enforcement today ain't what it was back then. I mean, it's terrible. I don't like seeing a highway patrolman go out there and be out there by himself, because today ain't like it was 20 years ago. They just seem to shoot you. They look at you. But anyway, I appreciate each and every one of you, and I tell you, it's been a busy week for me, but we got it done, and we're here. But see y'all later.
All right, Jennifer Moody. Jennifer, there you go.
This is new for me.
That's all right. Take your
All
time.
right.
Just give me your name and your address for the
So
clerk.
it's Jennifer Moody, and we're at 307 Glen Street in Franklinton. And so we're here today to talk about what we've been experiencing with rapid gunfire and use of ATVs in the back part of our parcels. So I'm gonna slow down here. So we live off of Glen Street, right? And that is a kind of a newer section that's been annexed into the town of Franklinton. It consists of 5 homes that's on Glen Street, and then we have another 3 new homes that is on Collins Street. Total for this whole area, we have about 13 new families within the area, right? That consist of about 3 streets. What's happened is that we continue to experience repeated gunfire near our occupied homes, along with loud, aggressive ATV activity and other disturbances originating on the near parcel. There's 7.58 acres sitting behind Glen Street. That's county land, right? There's no buffer in place. The people that are going out there, they're actually shooting probably, 120, 150 feet from our homes, which is really close. What's happening is that these incidents have had a visible effect on our families in the neighborhood, and on multiple occasions, parents have moved children indoors or away from outdoor play because a gunfire was occurring next to the residential homes. There are many children in the area, along with residents who regularly walk, run, bike, and spend time outdoors. In the summer, we have a pool in that area as well, which there's a lot of children that go there with family members. The jurisdiction, what's happening is that the jurisdictional overlap has added difficulty for residents trying to respond appropriately. Citizens are often unsure who to contact, right? Because we live in the town of Franklinton, but the occurrence is happening in the county, right? So what's happening is when we call for support, we give the address, right? We tell them, hey, do not send the town of Franklinton Police Department. We need county. Goes over dispatch, and the town of Franklinton picks up the call, and the county never shows up. What happens is what they get out there and they're frustrated, right? Because they're saying, hey, they're not doing anything wrong. We can't see them, right? Go back in your house and shut your blinds, basically is what they're saying to us, okay? It's frustrating. I know it's frustrating for the police, and it's frustrating for us because we're getting no help. And this has been going on since 2021 when we bought those homes. Over time, we've urbanized in that area. Lots of new homes are coming in. 500 homes are coming in at Mason Glen, right? Which is sitting next to that parcel back there. Lots of activity is going on, right? Another complicated factor in this situation is that what's happening is the people live in the town of Franklinton, right? But they're stepping over to the county, and what goes is anything goes in the county of Franklinton, right? That's what they say. No, they're not going to do anything with this. If you bring it to them, right? It just gets worse. The retaliation gets worse. It's gotten so worse that we've had to go file civil charges against these people, right? But that's not going to solve our problem because we don't want to be in court all the time, right? We need things put in so we're safe within our area, right? Whether it's perimeter, whether it's some type 500 yards away from residential area, something to be put into place. This is also going on in nighttime, right? 11, 12, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, they're out there shooting, right? That's up against our house. It's rattling our windows. That's how bad it is. We can't, when we call, we don't get any assistance. There's so many reports where our neighbors have called the police, that we've called the police, right? We've basically been told by the town, if we keep calling, we're going to press charges against y'all for calling. We're getting no legal recourse. There's no legal anything from them, any help we're getting, right? And we're paying taxes in that town. And we're paying taxes to the county, which is very expensive, by the way. You know, it is. So we expect to be able to live in peace, enjoy our area, right? And not worry about the bullets flying, you know, coming into our house or wherever they're coming from. So, you know, we want to be clear, right? When we say that guns, people get really like over the top when you start saying, I'm going to take your guns. We're gun owners, right? But we support people with common sense, I guess, right? Knowing that people are going to be coming, they're moving over there. That means that, hey, if you got 7.5 acres, which is not their land, by the way, they just say rent it.
One moment for me. All
Make a motion, we extend their session.
All right. Commissioner Foy has made a motion to extend the session for a second. Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Yeses have it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So we want to be clear, right, that the request is not intended to oppose reasonable or responsible firearm ownership or safe outdoor recreation or land utilization by any means, right? Rather, we're asking for help ensuring that these activities, when they occur, are conducted in a location and a manner that are compatible with nearby homes, children, and pedestrians. Because that area doesn't exist anymore, that free county land. It's not there. People are there. We're there, right? We live there. And these people, 3 people, 5 people, are tormenting the whole neighborhood, right? Shaking our walls, basically scaring us. So what we're asking, right, is to review dispatch procedures so calls involving incidents on county land, including that parcel 009269, are routed correctly to the Franklin County Sheriff's Office or managed through a clear, coordinated response. We're asking to clarify jurisdictional responsibility for enforcement on and around this parcel so residents know which agency to contact when these incidents occur, right? We also want to evaluate the public safety risk associated with repeated gunfire, loud ATV activity occurring so close to our occupied homes, children, pedestrians, and bicyclists. And we would like to determine what county level enforcement policy or safety measures may be available to better protect our residents in that area. And with so much growth going on, right, in those areas, there's another 600 water allocations, 300 and something in the town of Franklinton, and another 300 in the county, right? So this is going to happen more and more. So we just respect your time, and we hope that we can come to a resolution so we can enjoy our homes.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, Ms. Moody.
Thank you.
Would you come up here for just a second? I want you to put your phone number there. This is always important to fill it on for your information.
Oh, yeah.
So that if we get staff to call you back, they've got your numbers.
And here,
Put your name right here.
that's
Your
the parcel, the IDs and everything.
number right here. Thank you. Are you Charlie?
Oh, no.
You're just with her. Okay, gotcha.
Use my morals.
All right, that's all right. Charlie Faber, if you want to get ready to come on up, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for your time.
Yes, good. Well done.
Thank
All right. Sir, your name and address for the clerk, and
Name is Charles Faber. Address is 100 Fawn Cove, Lewisburg, North Carolina. I'm a resident at Lake Royale, here to speak on the MOU. There's been more than enough said here tonight that I do not need to repeat both sides of this discussion. I'm 100% in agreement with our board of directors and their efforts that they're looking at this. This is a very serious time in our world where liability is huge. One officer involved shooting with an innocent victim could completely destroy our communities, POA, from a financial responsibility. Therefore, I think this needs to be looked at. The problem I have with it is the way it was done. I am in agreement with several of our other members here that have said that we were kind of blindsided with this. I knew nothing about it until I saw your agenda saying finalizing the MOU. As a resident, I had to just put my arms up and say, what MOU? So we've seen nothing that is going to be presented to you, and that I think is one of the biggest problems. I think that it needs to be looked at and taken into consideration to share that MOU prior to it being submitted to the commissioners. Again, just so that we understand what's being suggested here. I think the other big problem here is a lot of people are a little scared when they hear MOU. It's basically a formal document, typically done in many businesses and many industries through the world. So it's not something that's unusual or out of this, expectations of something that has to be done from you guys to be able to put this in a context that can be able to be understood. What we're asking for, what you're able to provide, all those things obviously are going to have to be documented. There's so many things that are not necessarily being taken into consideration here as far as matching what we have today with the police force and apples to apples. Basically, we've got kid camps, we've got policing the lake. Is Franklin County going to do that? There's so many questions that have to be asked before any of this can really come to fruition. Lastly, I just want to say, again, I appreciate the process that they're going through here to the extent that it is a serious thing that needs to be discussed. That's all I have. Thank you.
So thank you. For those of you that are here for the Lake Royale thing, we do have an item on our agenda about it. So if you do want to stick around to hear what might be shared, definitely you would hear it here and not somewhere else. All right, that concludes everyone who signed up for our public comment section. So we will move on to item number 2, which is our consent agenda. And
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to remove item J, Historic Preservation Commission, from the consent agenda.
It's all right, man. There you go.
I'd like to make a motion to remove item J, Historic Preservation Commission, from the consent agenda.
I second that.
So we have a motion and a second to remove item J.
I would like, I'm sorry, Vice Chair. I would like a moment to discuss item J before it is removed, if I could be granted that.
Right. I was going to suggest that we have a discussion on it, and then we can make a final decision in voting on it individually, if you'd like to do that, as far as pulling it off, because we will have to vote for that. So, all right. Anyone else have any other concerns with the consent agenda that they'd like to discuss before we discuss item J? Hearing none. All right. I'll let Commissioner Speed lead off with your thoughts on your request tonight.
We have heard from the public tonight. They have made some, Mr. Maury has expressed his concerns about this and given legitimate reasons and importance that we should keep this board in place.
Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate Mr. York and Mr. Kingsley stepping up and the rest of the group here in support of that. I think I have a request for this, and I think we have to go back slightly so that those people that are here could understand kind of the process that we went through. Obviously, Commissioner Speed and Commissioner Foy were on a task force, I guess, to look at non-statutory boards, which ones were active, which ones were present, which ones were putting ideas forward to the county, and which ones weren't. So, and the idea behind that was really just to clear up the backlog and to make it at least county government as efficient as possible, because there is staff on the backside like Kristen and Gina and Scott and those people that have to keep up with these boards, make sure their bylaws are in place or whatever the case is, especially if we have people that are wanting to be appointed to those boards. So we went through all of that, and that's where we have landed with the EDC, Historic Preservation Commission, and Solid Waste Education Task Force. Mr. York made I think 4 requests tonight, if I remember. 1, it was obviously to keep it. 2 was to get a liaison from staff to that commission, recruit new members, and there was a 4th. My pen went out, and so I apologize. But I can't support pulling this off in the current situation that we have. However, Commissioner Speed and to the rest of my board, what I would say to this is I would pull this off if that board could be restructured with a leader or leadership that was going to take that board and run with it, become active, become consistent, have quorum, and to do all those things that I would expect a board to do. I could get behind that. I have no problem. To leave it somewhat dormant is where I have an issue with it, and that's where I stand. So I think I would put that back on Mr. York and some of his people at Historic Preservation, is to, hey, who's going to run this thing and who's going to take this thing and lead with it? And that's my point that I want to state here.
All right, thank you for that. I guess from what I remember from the task force was this is one of the committees that was identified that was not active. They were not meeting. They were not even meeting. We just weren't meeting. There was no minutes. There was no leadership. There was no officers involved. It was, I don't know exactly, but there was nothing going on. What we're trying to do is clean up and create efficiency with the government as we grow. We can have more manpower hours to be resourceful to the ones that are more pressing and more present. Mr. York made the one request that stood out to me was to keep the ordinance. I don't know, is he still here?
Yes.
All right, I'm sorry, I just couldn't find it. To keep the ordinance. So my question is for the attorney, because this is not a dialogue opportunity, unfortunately. If we take action on this letter and we move forward as it was offered or suggested to do, what is this ordinance? Or what are you doing?
Yeah, so the county does have an ordinance that created this board, and after the focus group came up with a list of boards that were inactive and that we were going to take off. The second phase of that was to amend our ordinances to address those provisions that are impacted by that decision. We just needed to get through this part first. So your decision today doesn't amend the ordinance, but it does give them 60 days to wrap up, and then we would work on the ordinance changes from there.
Are we required to take that second step? Can we just, per se, I guess what I'm saying is could we keep it where it's on our books that we could have it again if there's enough interest and there's enough people willing to step up, serve, and bring this back to life, that then we can say, okay, we will recognize this to become an active thing, and it can be named the same thing, or we name something different, historic something else, whatever that group of people may want to do as a volunteer group.
Well, we actually have a 60-day window built in. So one recommendation we could make is that if you were to vote yes today, that would give us 60 days to take a look at it and talk with them, and then see if we need to amend it. That would give them a time frame to.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Sorry, I don't know if my mic's working. Is my
There
mic
it is.
working?
There you go. Just take it out.
Okay, so the motion that's before you is that we would give them 60 days to wind down. I would say during that 60 days, if they were to reorganize and come up with a plan, but when we come back before you regarding the ordinance change or whatever other cleanup things that we have to do to effectuate your decision, that at that point you could reconsider your position. Because this is one of those boards where there's going to have to be a second step to this, which is to amend the ordinance.
And do you have any history on this of your own knowledge? And it was created in 2017. So was this started for the purpose of that wonderful book that was created that I have copies of and have given gifts to other people?
So Mr. Hammerbacher could probably speak to that because he was a part of it.
Yes, he was. I just didn't want to put him.
I'm sorry, I did.
Scott, you're on the spot now.
That was really the interest behind a lot of this, was being able to do the book and be able to access.
He doesn't have a mic,
He doesn't have a mic.
unfortunately.
Yeah, now you do.
Come close.
No, the book itself was the impetus for the HBC. A lot of that was spearheaded by Mr. York, spoke with county management, and in doing so, the early thought on this is that we established a historic preservation commission. We would have access to state fundings to fund that book as well.
Which is what we did.
Yes, sir.
Very effective.
Mm-hmm. Has there been any funding since then past this book that we've received from the state that you can think of?
We haven't applied in all
Okay.
fairness. So
Okay.
there were funding opportunities, but we have not pursued those.
Okay. This is something similar to what, Vice Chair, if you give me just a second here, what we did with the Parks and Rec in the sense that Parks and Rec asked for one, not to be disbanded, but then also to have a liaison at the county government, which, we've already done that. And Mr. York said, hey, we want a staff member to report directly to. I'm fine with that request, but however, if me personally speaking, one of seven, if I'm going to implore another staff member who costs the taxpayers money to do that, I would want that commission to be organized and to be deliberate and to be effective. If that commission's going to ask for something back in return from county staff that can be doing other things, that's where I would stand. And I do like the idea of it giving them 60 days to potentially reorganize and do that.
Any other thoughts or comments on this topic? No, ma'am. No. Ma'am, we can't take comments from the board, from the floor. So I understand, but then maybe move a little closer. You can pull your chair and move up a little closer, maybe where you could hear, or there's a seat here in the front if you'd like to come join us up front. That might make it a little easier for you to hear. Okay, but we can't do comments or discussion from the, sorry. All right, so.
I've got another question.
All right, hold on one second. I'm trying to get where my thought was. And
Okay.
We were all trying to go here.
Okay.
Go ahead, Commissioner Floyd, and I may
Okay.
gather my.
So right now, we have this one item pulled out, J, the Historic Preservation Commission.
Yes, sir.
And if it goes along with the rest, we have 60 days to come back to it.
That's correct.
And
it's-
reverse our
it's-
decision?
It's a 60-day window in the staff write-up. The staff's recommendation is for 60 minutes. Let me get to that one here real quick. It specifically reads that the staff recommends maintaining the Historic Preservation Commission for a 60-day period in order to conclude outstanding business. The board recognizes and thanks those who have served on the Historic Preservation Commission for the years of dedication to celebrating Franklin County's historic legacy. So there's a 60-day window.
I know we had two speakers here that were pretty adamant about keeping this commission. And I implore you to hopefully get your membership on that, to be an active board.
And that is one of the things
Yeah.
that's very hard right now and has been for quite some time, is getting members of the community to want to be engaged, to want to give up their Tuesday night or their Thursday night or their Saturday afternoon to be a part of something of a community with these committees and things. I struggle with finding those people to serve on the boards that I have to make appointments to. We've become so busy, and well, there's a lot of things we've become, but busy is one of them. So it is difficult. So this is part of just the evolution of where we are in society. So I think it's time to reactivate the invigoration of getting people to realize the importance of something beyond their circle. You know? And so, yeah, I agree with you, Commissioner Floyd.
I would love to keep this one item here, this item J, separate from that, and let them continue on with the promise and hope they can come up a little stronger on that.
I think the goal is if they can move forward and do it in a reasonable amount of time, that probably it would never be identified to begin with. So
Right.
we need to
Well,
no longer have.
I'd say let's give it another chance on item J.
So, we could recommend, maybe the possibility here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is to recommend that 60-day be stricken and replaced with 120 to give the
Or not
community
at all,
and those
just
that
keep it
want to
on
be
there.
well, we've got to have a checks and balance. Like if you don't do it, then it's still here and then there's no urgency. But if we create a window of expectation, then it creates urgency, and that may actually help recruitment because, wow, if we don't do this and we don't step up, then we know what the outcome is. So I think that could.
I mean, I think that's fair on both sides here. The county saying, hey, look, let's extend that out to 120 days. Let's give you guys time to reorganize and find that enthusiasm. And it's a check and balance on both sides. I mean, I know, I would handle anything like that in my day-to-day life. And sometimes that's a good thing. So I would be in favor of an extension to 120 days.
To where they keep on operating.
Yep.
Or hopefully more so.
Right. So I'll make a motion that we move forward with the staff's recommendation, editing the 60-day period of time to 120 days. And then allow those that feel the conviction to engage and to build your team to create that committee that's going to be actively serving and doing it, and that we will fully support.
And come back before the board.
And they come back before the board. Communicate with I'll say our county manager and whoever he may designate, which may be someone else, but communicate with them about what you're doing and how your progress is and what your plan may be, and just stay in contact as you move through your plan and you work your plan towards the goal of having what you need to be able to, and let the county tell you, these are the 5 things that you need to accomplish, whatever they are, so that you know what your goals are, right off the bat and your objectives to obtain. And then that would make it.
And
work
I'd
really
say let's, to your point on that, Ryan, let's make sure that we give clear goals of what, our expectations would be. Nothing crazy, but just, what that is, and then have that dialogue. And if Vice Chair made that in a motion, I would second that.
I did make it in motion.
Okay. So then I second.
So there's a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the yeses have it and so ordered. So we have item J taken care of.
Yep.
You're good.
Madam
You're
Council,
good.
you good with that?
I'm good with that.
All right, excellent. So now we will, I'll ask for the pleasure of the board regarding their balance of the consent agenda before you.
Motion to approve. Second.
Have a motion to approve and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the yeses have it and so ordered. Thank you for that little bit of work there, but I think good things are happening, so let's keep going. All right, item 3A. Yes, Child Abuse Prevention Month Proclamation 2026. Kimberly Talley and Dana Lyles with our Social Service Department are going to come forward, and they are going to read out loud and highlight the Child Abuse Prevention Month Proclamation. So, ladies, thank you for being here.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing us to come. So the proclamation is, whereas child well-being is not just a moral imperative, but the foundation for building North Carolina's future success and prosperity, and whereas all children deserve to grow up in environments that offer positive childhood experiences that promote healthy mental, physical, and emotional development. And whereas communities that have the resources they need to ensure all families can access supports when they need them, free of judgment or barriers, can reduce the risk of child abuse and neglect while promoting parental and family resilience. And whereas child abuse and neglect are preventable, and the responsibility to help every child meet their full potential lies within every community member, organization, and leader, recognizing that promoting positive experiences for all North Carolina families strengthens the future of our state. And whereas collaboration among families, educators, early care providers, healthcare providers, faith-based organizations, local businesses, social services agencies, law enforcement, and community groups are essential for creating the positive environments and experiences children need to lead a healthy, purposeful life with hope for the future. And whereas during Child Abuse Prevention Month, we recognize the importance of strengthening families and creating nurturing environments where all children feel supported, connected, and able to thrive. Now, therefore, the Franklin County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim April 2026 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Franklin County and commend its observance to all residents. Proclaim this 6th day of April 2026.
Thank you for that. Thank you. I was just looking back and reading what was in our packet, and I couldn't find what you were reading in our packet. And so I just have a point of order here. Are we above board, legal, and decent because we've promoted this one as our public, and you're reading something differently? And it's important that we see, as the leaders of this board and county, we see before it's here what it is you are bringing to us.
Okay.
Do we need to table this for next month?
It's very good. It's not.
Close enough. Make sure she gets copied.
Okay.
You are.
Please look at it real quick.
Yeah.
That's okay. We're just table it for later. And this is not good. Good. All right. So the action item, thank you. The action item here tonight is consider approval of what you've just heard, and what is the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. All right, the yeses have it, so ordered. Thank you for that. All right, letter B tonight is award bar screen bid for our wastewater treatment plant. And Christopher Doherty, our Public Utilities Director, is here tonight to give us this presentation. Thank you, Chris.
Good evening. I'm here to present the bid and award recommendation for the new bar screen and compactor for the wastewater treatment plant. We need an additional bar screen and compactor at the plant for the bypass channel at the influent pump station at the wastewater treatment plant. This will allow us redundancy when maintenance performed on the primary influent channel. It will also allow us to handle high flow situations with two channels being able to operate and each channel having a bar screen. And again, as I mentioned before, it will offer the redundancy within the plant that we like to have. We put this out to bid, and the bids were advertised with a due date of March 12, 2026 at 2 p.m. We received 4 bids from Clean Infusion LLC, Charles R. Underwood LLC, J.S. Heron Company, and Mizell Construction Services. It is staff's recommendation to award the bid to Charles R. Underwood, as they have the experience in doing this type of work and have offered to install the same manufacturer of equipment that we currently have at the wastewater treatment plant, and they have the familiarity with the wastewater treatment plant as they've done previous projects for us. And the last recommendation would be to authorize the county manager to sign the construction contract with Charles R. Underwood LLC and any other required documents with approval of the county or staff attorney. Thank you, and I stand by to answer any questions that you may have.
Can you just give us a real brief understanding of what a bar screen is? Because I don't.
Quick, just everybody doesn't know that. What a bar screen is at our influent pump station where
What's
all the
influent mean?
wastewater comes in.
What's influent mean? I'm sorry.
What comes into the wastewater plant.
Okay.
It's where all the wastewater comes into the treatment plant from the county.
Okay.
And what the bar screen does, it screens out, there's a bunch of bars lined up, and it screens out the larger debris, rags, rocks, you name it. And then based on head differential, the elevation of the wastewater in the channel, there's sensors on it that will have it's called a trash rack also. These fingers that are opposite of the bar screen come up, rake up the debris, throw it into a compactor. The compactor will then compact it, and it forces the wastewater and any biological items that are still within the wastewater back into the influent stream and take the large debris out, compact it, drop it in the dumpster for disposal at the landfill when our dumpster gets full.
Okay. Thank you.
What is typically the lifespan of one of these?
Probably, well, because it is sitting in wastewater most
Yeah.
of the time, probably about 25 years. It is
Really?
made out of stainless steel.
Okay.
There is annual and routine maintenance that needs to be done
Yeah.
on them. But, we have a bypass channel. So in case we had issues, we had a manual screen.
Gotcha.
This will allow us to have 2 automatic bar screens to operate in the channel at one time. So we could take one out of service for maintenance. If we have a high flow event, they both can operate and allow staff to run the plant instead of having to go run out to the bar screen, push a button, allow the trash rack to run, wait for it, that it'll cycle automatically based on head conditions within the influent basin.
I have a question, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain to us again why we're not going with the low bidder on this project?
Because the low bidder did not, what they bid was not the same equipment as we currently have at the wastewater treatment plant.
Wasn't that part of the bid packet to bid the same equipment or not?
It was not.
Why not?
We asked for same equipment or equivalent, and we want the same equipment for operational ease for my staff.
I can understand that, but if that's what you wanted, why wouldn't you make that part of the bid packet? And that man would have been cheaper providing the same equipment.
Mm-hmm.
When you go above the lowest qualified bidder, it gives the perception that something underhanded might be going on.
Understood.
Because the difference is about, what, 42,000?
Yeah.
Can anybody ask?
Yes, sir.
What is the cost of this? How much does it cost?
Go back a slide.
Go back in the slide.
$560,000.
$560,000.
Okay. What was it now?
560 versus
Oh, okay.
518, something.
Right there.
Right there.
So $41,000.
And did y'all contact Clean Infusion when you decided you wanted to go with the same equipment and ask them to price it with the same equipment?
I will ask my staff that. I did not personally do it. I'll ask my staff.
Now, I need to table that next meeting before you find out you're equal fair on that.
Well, I think the question is the piece of equipment that I can't read it. Clean Infusion, I think is what it says.
Clean Infusion is the contractor.
I know we wanted to go back with what we had for Clean Infusion at 519. Was it inferior equipment or just not what we're used to?
Good question. It's not the brand and model, different model, but not the brand that we currently have in place for operational ease. It very well could be just as good. We just, I have to talk to my staff to find out what the difference between the two, what one is offering versus the other.
Any other discussion? Madam Attorney, you have? Okay.
No, I don't have anything.
Having heard the discussion, what's the pleasure of the board?
I make a motion And I don't know whether we need to make a motion to table it or make a motion to put it out for rebid and revise the bid packet.
Yeah.
Through the proper specifications. You know, I don't know what's in order here for this. I'll look for some guidance from staff on that.
I would think we just turn it down and vote no. They've heard, the staff's heard the discussion of the board tonight. They can go back and accomplish the concerns that they expressed, bring it back to us in a fashion that we probably find fit. Madam Attorney, am I off on that?
I'll make a motion, we deny this request.
Second?
All right, motion's been made to deny it. So second,
Yeah, second.
second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. All right, the yeses have it, it's so ordered. All right. Letter C tonight is Lake Royale MOU, and our county attorney is going to share some information regarding that.
Yes, thank you, Commissioners. I just wanted to give you a brief history and for the members of the public too, so they can understand how this came to be. Members of the Lake Royale Board approached the sheriff and asked for his assistance with law enforcement. When this was first placed on the Commissioners' agenda, it was this is such a complex agreement that the board was asked to delegate the negotiations to the county manager in consultation with the sheriff and the county attorney. So at that time, there was no agreement written, drafted. There was nothing except for the proposal that we would work out an MOU. There was some language in there that said this was to finalize the agreement, and I think that threw some confusion into the situation. But it was really granting the county manager authority. I wanted to update the board in where we are in that process. County manager has been working on this with the sheriff and myself. But as a part of this review, the county has determined that there are some jurisdictional considerations that we need to work through. It was mentioned in some of the public comments that some of the parcels are outside of Franklin County. We are continuing to work through those and evaluate the appropriate options. But until that jurisdictional issue is addressed in a way that we can agree, then this MOU will not be in a form that people can review yet. So we're still in the negotiation phase, but we need to work through those jurisdictional issues prior to an agreement being released where people can read that. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer
And that's your
those.
recommendation.
Yes, I think we should work through the jurisdictional issues before we publish an agreement for everyone to review.
Can you expound on the jurisdictional issues any?
Yes. So
here?
yes, I mean, I think it's
Yeah.
been mentioned publicly that there are parcels in Lake Royale that are in Nash County.
Yeah.
The sheriff and I had an idea of how we might work through that. And after reviewing the law and talking with folks who are work through agreements like this, have said that we need to slow down for a minute and take a closer look at how we might work out those jurisdictional issues more than just on a one-time basis. Like, so it would, and that has raised a whole bunch of other legal issues that we have to work through. So we're going to slow down just a little bit.
I think this is a good time that we can maybe have a little dialogue to help inform indirectly those that are here in the room. I think it's good to have a little conversation around this. And so I'll just say a few things, and then other members, if you feel so inclined, add in. I personally am comfortable with this taking a little while to be understood. The way I understand this, ladies and gentlemen, is this is an agreement that in order for us, the board, to approve it, they've got to go get it done. We're not going to agree to something that's not complete. But just because they agree to it doesn't mean it's going to happen, because it takes 4 of us on this board to say yes to it or to say no to it. But we can't even begin to address it or engage it because it's not complete. I think it was important that the town hall was done. I think thinking about hearing the comments tonight and envisioning some of the things that you all were sharing, in my head, I'm going, okay, maybe we got the cart for the horse in a couple different And maybe, just maybe the way I could see this kind of settling itself out a little bit is getting the county and the board of directors, whatever their title is, I'm sorry, commissioners, I'm not sure what your title is, but the leadership that's on the board there to craft this thing called an MOU and get it, what they both, as being those that see all the things that they see, and conclude. And then maybe that becomes public for you as a community to begin to decide what you like, what you don't like, and then you all as a community and as a leadership body discuss and decide what you're going to be willing to accept or not accept. Then as you all come to your complete understanding and agreement on what of this you like, don't like, what you're willing to bring forward, you create this new body of work, which is a revised MOU, to come back to the county attorney and the manager to say, as a community, this is where we stand. This is what we want to be able to see. And then let us come to your public comment section once you all have this, you all are together, at least it's a majority because majority rules, right? And let us come and be a part of that gathering and share thoughts and ideas and where we may stand. I feel like, to me, in listening to what I've heard, that's maybe a great outcome. And if you're going to get new board officers, then hey, God bless them. God bless the ones that stand tall. God bless them. So maybe there can be some peace in your hearts and minds tonight when you go home to your community that nothing's happening tomorrow, right? And that this may not happen at all. But this is a journey towards an idea to see if it even has the ability to stand on its own. And it only stands on its own when everyone supports it, or the majority supports it. And I think that's what kind of where we need to be able to allow ourselves to get. And I think sharing, like you said, sharing all the information, not pieces of it, not $900,000, $1.2 million, or $1.7 million. I'm a numbers guy, if y'all don't know that. I can't read names very well, but I can kill some numbers. Yeah, I get it. That's a lot. That's a big difference between 1.7 and 1.2. So, but I think that's just a little bit of what kind of went through my mind in this process, and maybe what I can add as an outsider looking in to offer some suggestions. Anyone else with thoughts on this? Any comments?
I think that's a fantastic idea, Commissioner Shriver. The sheriff, they pay the same taxes that we all pay. Like Royale, and the sheriff is going to provide the same coverage.
He's coming with it when y'all need him. He's coming.
Now, he might not write seatbelt tickets or run the stop sign tickets or whatever, because I got one in Lake one time for that. So, it's going to depend a lot on what kind of coverage y'all want from this MOU to cover, and to what degree. Like someone brought up point, policing the lake, I don't think the sheriff's got a boat. We might have to buy one, but I don't know. So there's a lot of issues that have to be worked out.
Yeah, thank you. I agree. Yeah, there's a lot left to be done. And, okay. All right, other comments?
I think y'all hit it. I agree.
So, yeah, I mean, you all pay. I'm gonna delineate the word tax as being paid because you all mentioned this at the time. And again, I'm just trying to add clarity here. Don't shoot the messenger. When we talked about Youngsville, when we talked about Franklinton, and we talked about Lewisburg, guess what, folks? They pay city ad valorem taxes, which means if you paid that, you'd be paying almost double what you pay in your county property taxes. I don't know if you all can become incorporated. I don't know. I'm not that person. Can't give you that. But in my head, like that's really like one ideal solution. But that means everybody who owns property in Lake Royale is going to start paying double. Well, that's a good idea. If you bring that idea up, you might want to find a different house to live in outside of Lake Royale. Sheriff might not be able to help you, but for so long. But my point is that yes, there are taxes generated and things like that. But the type of taxes that are collected and used to provide public service, support, fire, rescue, police, those come from ad valorem taxes. which the Lake Royale does only pays at the county level, not the municipal level. So it's not fair to compare Lake Royale to the municipalities because they're a different entity. They're a whole different animal. And while your population is bigger, I totally get it. They're not the same. Fairness. So don't allow yourself to be chased down that rabbit hole to where that's another added point of contention, because you're really not being fair to yourself when you're assessing the bigger picture. So yeah, that's another piece of it. So it's a big dynamic, and I think that there's enough smart people in the room. One of the comments I'm saving for my public comment at the end is, when did we completely quit trusting leadership? Completely trusting leadership. Sometimes we've got to be a little patient and just trust, and then go verify. But give a little room for the work to be done to allow the leadership to prove to you that they're working on something. Anyway, I think I'm getting off course, so I'm going to hush. But with that, the action requested here tonight is to receive an update of the proposal of the MOU and provide direction as needed. I feel like this board has done that. Anyone final comments from the commissioners before we move on to the next item? Hearing none. Letter D, Franklin Plaza office renovations. Roy Powell, our capital project manager, is with us tonight. He is going to provide this presentation. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Safe travels.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. What I'm going to provide for you tonight is the Franklin Plaza office renovations, and the space I'm going to speak of is in this building. It's 2 doors down. It's 283 South Bickett Boulevard. The purpose is to provide office space for 2 of our county departments, one being public utilities, which will ultimately utilize the space, and the register of deeds, which will just utilize it temporarily until the judicial complex is complete. In the process, we issued an RFP, held a competitive bid process with some engineered plans that was developed by an architect, which is Stephen T. Baxter. His architect, he's with us here tonight. Should we have any questions about that process? So we did, that attempt was to identify qualified contractors to renovate the acquired space. We did identify the lowest responsive and responsible bidder from 4 bids that Mr. Baxter did certify for us. So what you have there before you is the 4 bids out of 14 engaged contractors that submitted bids. Riley Lewis General Contractors, Kinstruct LLC, Salisbury and Moore Construction LLC, and Harrod and Associate Constructors. Harrod and Associate Constructors was the lowest bid, and the responsible that the architect identified at $684,000. So the bid date did start March 1st. Opening date was the 31st. We gave a 30-day period. It was really engaging with the contractor, several site meetings and pre-bid meetings. So with the base bid showing at $684,000, the engineered plans that was developed by the engineers of the architect did identify some unknown areas that could possibly be a little expensive for us. So I listed in an owner allowance of 15%. Some of those areas would be, there's not enough fall in front of the building for a public restroom that is required to reach the sewer system in the back. So there's one solution the engineers offered is placing it into the walls. Others was a septic pump. As you can see, previously, 2 of the contractors offered that as an addition, even though it was not bid as an alternate. The fire alarm system, there's some questions about it, about its age, and about taking a single space, creating 2 spaces along with a common area of a break room. Fire sprinkler system, the smoke detector, and the HVAC duct system was not located by the engineer, but may be a requirement of the code and signage. With those unknowns, it caused us to want to request the 15% owner allowance for us to make that decision if we add that or change that to the building. So the total award amount that's being requested is $786,600. That's for the project, not to the contractor. So staff recommends award to the Harrod and Associate Constructors in the amount selected by the Board of Commissioners. So we would ask that you do award that in an amount with funding that will come from the Public Utility Enterprise Fund, and authorize the county manager to execute the contract and sign any other documents as needed pending review from the county attorney.
I'll make a motion, we approve it.
Second. Have a motion made and a second to approve the action requested tonight. Any discussion? I do just want to point out for clarity, that my understanding of this is that when we get this done, that a portion of this we are going to use temporarily to bring the register of deeds out of the courthouse arena, so that while that courthouse construction stuff's being done at home.
That is correct.
And we're going to bring part of public utilities in at the same time. And then once we get the courthouse complete, we can get those folks back in their place and settled. We'll bring the rest of the public utility program we plan to put in this building into this building. That's why this money is being paid for out of the public utilities department fund and not out of tax dollars, because it's for the public, but ultimately it's for the public enterprise fund, which those monies are separate and come from different sources.
I've got one more thing I just want to mention on this that, Troy, maybe you can speak to, but the owner allowance, 15%, 102,000. Obviously, I heard your reasoning behind that, but you know, for the public sitting out here and we're doing this kind of work, and a lot of times we come across these projects and there will be, you know, an allowance built in for the unknowns. Who's at a county staff, who's making sure that we don't spend that money if we don't need to spend that money, if we don't run into any, you know, issues or anything? I just want to make sure. Now all of a sudden 788 is going to be there, right? That doesn't mean, I think there's a perception that government's going to spend it if it's there. Like, can you speak to that a little bit about who's the overseer of that? Because I don't see it once the project's going. I've done this job here on April 6th or whatever it is, right?
Right.
Can you elaborate a little bit as far as just a protection of that money?
Yes. So as the capital project manager for this project, it'll be my responsibility.
Okay.
And at the authorization of the county manager. So nothing gets spent from the allowance unless the county manager authorizes me to move it forward.
And I too have the same concerns, because I feel like, you know, we're putting it out there. Well, it's like going to buy something that you want that's a big ticket item in your family, and you're like, yeah, you know, I really like the price, but I mean, I got a little extra money if you can really make it cool, you know? Can you make this a little snazzier for me? Like, you know, oh, you can really do that? And I'm not saying you're thinking like that, Troy, because I know you're not. You're sharp. This guy is in it to win it. He is a numbers guy. Yeah. But the perception sometimes is there. I said all that really to say this. This is why you have to extend grace to leadership and people that you choose to put in roles to do work. You have to extend grace and allow them to do the work that they've been gifted to do and they've been hired to do. You can go back and ask questions. You can even go verify it. You can ask to see it all. And then if something doesn't go as you think it should as a leader, that's when you teach. That's your moment to grow. And you grow and they grow. And bigger and better decisions are made. Yes, sir.
Commissioner Davis, just to answer your question a little bit further. We meet weekly, sometimes bi-weekly, and go over those projects, get updates from Troy or any of the other staff on those, and just vet those. Jamie or her staff are a part of that as well, our finance office, and go through those and making sure we're making an informed decision. So great question, but he's on it.
Good, thank you. Troy, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, any other comments or questions here tonight? All right, the action requested tonight is to consider the approval of the recommended bid and authorize the county manager to sign all necessary documents and agreements pending review by the county attorney. What is the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
Motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the yeses have it, so ordered. Thank you for that. Thank you, Troy. Pause for one more here. All right. Letter E tonight is Franklinton Park improvements. Emily Lockamy, last name,
Lakmi Hilarans.
is here with us tonight as our interim director of Park and Recs to give us a presentation. Thank you for being here.
Good evening, and thank you for having me with you guys tonight. We're just gonna go over the Franklinton Park improvement. In 2025, the board approved Franklinton Park to get its track rubberized and resurfaced. Over the last year, staff has analyzed the scope of work needed and the usage based off of the people who live within Franklinton and Franklin County. And we have found that with the allocation of funds, we could also add in an ADA pathway leading from the parking lot up to the soccer field, as well as adding in a stairway, connecting the stairway and the ADA to the sidewalk, remilling, resurfacing said track of asphalt, as well as adding grading and drainage improvements to the baseball and softball field for safety, and as well as replacing the fencing on the baseball and softball fields.
Selected fencing, I believe.
Selective fencing, yes,
That's
sir.
a big difference.
Yes, backstop and infield fencing.
There you go.
And so what you're seeing currently is after we followed the procurement policy and found no general contractor could handle the full scope of this project, we broke it into 3 projects and reached out for bids. And so what you're seeing is the lowest response from those quote requests. We are asking the board to relocate the previous funding into these 3 projects. I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have at this time regarding this project.
All right, so the action tonight is that we approve these projects individually as you presented them.
Yes, sir.
Versus as a bundle, because that's what you kind of were working to do. But without that one contractor to do it all, we have 3.
Yes, sir.
The amount stays the same?
The amount,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
you'll see the total decrease between the 3 projects because we're no longer rubberizing the track itself.
Do you know what the amount was before the 318?
360,000.
Okay, and any other questions by the board tonight?
I think I just want to, the ADA pathway and steps, and you said up to the sidewalks, but that is also up to the track as well, right?
Yes,
Okay.
everything will connect up towards
Yep.
the track.
Okay. I think that was important. Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? All right, the action requested tonight is consider approval of the recommended bid and authorize the county manager to sign all necessary documents and agreements pending review by the county attorney. What is the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve Franklinton Park improvements.
Motion made in a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the yeses have it, and so ordered. Thank you for that. Thank you very much,
you.
Ellen. Move on to item number 4 tonight, which is appointments. For the Board of Health, the commissioners are asked to consider appointing the following individuals for 3-year terms. These, the appointments are recommended by the Board of Health. Dr. Michelle Bachny.
Boucher.
Boucher, thank you. Boucher, Sandra Yang, and Melissa Hunter. What is the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
Motion made and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any no? All right, yeses have it, and that's so ordered. Letter B is the Youngsville Planning Board ETJ. John Cyrus and Jacob Wilson are eligible for reappointment and wish to continue the service. The board is asked to consider reappointing both for 3-year terms. What is the pleasure of the board?
Motion made. Second.
Motion made and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? Yeses have it, so ordered. We'll move down to letter number 5 tonight. Board manager and clerk's comments. This is the time we set aside for the board of commissioners, county manager, or clerk, the board to report various activities. The board may also discuss other items of interest. Madam Clerk?
have been unknown.
All right, so we're gonna set that up.
May the 18th.
May the 18th for the Board of Commissioners. Do you want to make that note?
Is that at 6?
6 o'clock? Okay. It's 6 o'clock, and this is for the budget, so. Very good. Thank you for that. County Attorney, do you have any comments? Very good. I'll move to our commissioners tonight. Commissioner May, any comments?
It was great to see a big crowd here tonight. Like I say, one thing, the lake and the history folks, they got rid of for us. And I support history, so.
Oh, it's a good thing, no question. It's got to get more people involved to keep things moving and going. All right, Commissioner Speed.
No comment.
Commissioner Blunt?
I have no comment.
Commissioner Boyd?
No comment.
Commissioner Dave?
Also have no comment.
All right. Manager? Anything?
Thank you, Chairman. I just wanted to take an opportunity to recognize our newest Assistant County Manager, started last week, David Bridle. He's a welcome addition, and we're excited to have him on board. He's hard to hit the ground running, and give him an opportunity to say hey if you wanted to.
Good evening. I'm new here. I don't know if I needed to state my name and address for the record or not.
If you'd like, no, just.
I'll keep it short and sweet. I just thank you for the opportunity, and I'm really excited about this opportunity, and I really look forward to working with you all.
Very good.
Yeah.
Welcome aboard.
Appreciate it.
Anything else?
That's it, sorry.
All right, I just had maybe two things. One, I learned earlier today that our clerk has been had a little anniversary. She's not getting older though, necessarily. But yeah, because we have to maintain things. Kristen has been our clerk for 20 years as of Friday. So congratulations to you for that milestone in your career. And thank you so much for your service to all of the many commissioners you've served. Only one that you've had consistently. I think Commissioner Foy is the only man standing that you have had a consistent one.
She was at the radio station.
Yeah, I remember the radio station. Yeah, I totally remember that. But yeah, very much so. So congratulations to that, and we're delighted that you're here, and we're expecting at least 15 more years. Because Commissioner Foy ain't stopping no time soon. So you got to hang with him. The other thing that I thought it was important to maybe shed just a little bit of light on for folks. I said earlier in our meeting about trusting leadership, trusting people that you put into place to serve. Not necessarily talking about myself, but just anyone. I mean, trust the people that you work with every day to do a part of a job that they're hard to do. And I think we find ourselves in our current culture where everything is so questionable and everything is so willing to be quagmired up. And I think it takes a lot of joy out of our hearts that we don't pause and just take a moment to consider that's a human being. And they probably are doing something good in there. There's a lot of things that people speculate that happens. I try not to believe anything I don't see with my own two eyes. And that's how I maintain my peace. Because this world throws so much at you right here. The country of England, fun fact, health department declared, like our Attorney General would declare what's good for you and what's not good for you, like smoking cigarettes can cause, declared that any child under the age of 2 should have no more than 3 hours of screen time a day. Now, as a parent, I think I could question that might be a little questionable. But I wasn't there. I don't know. I don't live in England. Go live my life. The county's working on a lot of huge things. And just like this MOU that's been talked about tonight, this has been going on for months. This discussion probably has been going on since last year this time that I'm aware of.
There is so much being done. There are very smart, very dedicated people working on so many things that for someone to put out there in their world that we all get to see, whether that's social media or printed press or whatever it is, or the television, that never sits in this room, that never comes and visits any one of us, happens to know everything. I struggle with that. I struggle with us being willing to accept just anything that comes our way. I challenge you to take the time to ask a question, to call somebody and learn something. There's a lot of good, incredible things happening right here in Franklin County. And when like that MOU, when it finally gets finished, we're going to share it with everybody. But you can't do business with everybody in the community when it's only one person you're doing business with. You got to get that agreement made before you can share it with the community and then get their input. So think about that as we kind of walk into tomorrow. Think about the fact that all of us in our hearts are trying to do something good. And maybe realize that everyone else that we look out here and see, they're trying to do something good too. And go ask them about it. Go ask them what's in their heart instead of taking someone else's opinion of their heart. I just think it's important. And more importantly, the reason why I share it with you all, hopefully it'll give someone else, because it gives me a lot. With that, that's probably not as much commissioner as maybe it needs to be, but it is what it is. It's my time it's my moment. It's my 5 minutes. So, all right. With that being said, that's item number 5 is complete, and I will move on to item number 6, which is our last item on this agenda, closed session. The board is asked to enter into closed session pursuant to the following North Carolina general statutes. North Carolina General Statute 143, 318, 11A3, attorney-client privileged communications. North Carolina General Statute 143, 318, 11A3, attorney-client privileged communications. 143, 318, 11A4, industry and economic development. And 143, 318, 11A6, personnel. What is the pleasure of the board?
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to go into closed session. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those no?
No.
All right. The yeses have it and is so ordered. We'll see you in closed session in just a minute. Thank you all for attending tonight. Yeah, I deem you one.
Motion to come out of closed session. So move. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Harry, you know about that, don't you, Commissioner? Ford?
Second.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, is there a motion to come back in session? Is there a motion?
We already done all that.
Motion and second. The world's watching. Yeah, seriously.
Motion to enter.
Come back in open session.
Yes.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. All right, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.